Let's now take you back to Khayelitsha in Cape Town, where a youth-led volunteer organization is launching a tree planting initiative. Hundreds of trees will be planted as part of a broader climate change campaign. Newzroom Africa's Nasiphi Same joins us live for more. So, Nasiphi, when we spoke earlier on, we saw that some of these civil society organizations are really taking the bull by the horns in initiatives such as this. How important is it for there to be collaboration with departments, government departments, such as that of forestry and fisheries?
Well, the aim by this particular organization is that they're planning to plant 7 billion trees worldwide, and collaborating with government, they say that will accelerate. They will accelerate that particular plan that they have, which is planting 7 billion trees. And today we are in Khayelitsha, as you mentioned, where about 250 trees will be planted here in Khayelitsha, one of the communities that have been identified. The planting of trees has already started, but to talk to us more about not only collaboration, but also ensuring that trees are built throughout the country, I'm joined by the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, Willie Oakham. Thank you so much for your time. But I think one of the questions that I have, you spoke on the podium this morning, and you spoke about the disasters that have struck the country, from flooding to the wildfires we've seen, including the drought we're seeing in parts of the Western Cape. How is tree planting going to assist in alleviating climate change?
Firstly, I think it's very important that we must all realize that climate change is a reality. Anybody that says that climate change is not a reality should just go and have a look at the amount and the frequency of the floods that we had in the northeastern parts and in KwaZulu-Natal. They must go and have a look at the ravaging veldfires that we've got and at the prolonged droughts that we had in the Northern Cape and in the Western Cape. Climate change is a reality, and one of the ways in which we can mitigate the effects of climate change is by planting trees. Trees prevent soil erosion, trees create enough oxygen for all of us. As climate change is coming on, the amount of the heat that we are experiencing in this country can be alleviated by standing under a tree. We are standing here at Khayelitsha today, the Khayelitsha Hospital. When you look around me, there's no trees. I said to these young people this morning that when we come back in 2 years' time or in a year's time from now, it would be great to address them again, but them all being able to stand under the trees that we are planting today. To plant a tree is to invest in the future of our young people and of this country. We're not only planting indigenous trees, we are also planting fruit trees. So trees that we are planting will have a contributing effect towards food security in this country. So it's such a great initiative, and I really want to thank others and others for creating this initiative. From South Africa's side, we have last year on the 24th of September managed to in one day plant 1,005,040 something trees in one day. So the president saw me on Wednesday and he said to me, Minister Oakham, I want you to plant 2 billion trees. And that is a huge task for us, and it's a great target. And we will all need to take hands to get to that target.
How do we have communities, disadvantaged townships and rural communities that are usually at the receiving end of climate change? How do we get them to not only plant trees, but what is the department going to be doing to plant trees in those communities, taking into account also limited space in some of those communities?
A vast number of that, more than 1 million trees that were planted last year, were planted in communities that does not have those trees and does not have the means to maybe procure those trees themselves. We've got a responsibility to help those that can't help themselves. We've also got the responsibility to educate them, to tell everybody that every single person can make a difference. There's such a lot of things in life where you feel disenfranchised, where you feel as if you're walking against a wall. But when it comes to planting a tree, looking after the environment, picking up a bottle, plastic bottle or whatever from the beach, you are making a contribution. And that is the culture that we want to create with every single young person in this country. You can make a difference. I said when I had my speech, we've got a saying in Africa, how do you eat an elephant? You can't eat it all on your own, all in one day. You've got to eat it piece by piece, little by little, every day, but keep on doing it. And if everybody in this country are going to work together on a daily basis to overcome climate change and to combat the implications thereof, we will succeed. I've also said this morning, and I challenge every one of your listeners and your viewers out there, when last did you think of a tree when you took a breath? We don't do that. We inhale and exhale, but we do not think about the trees that are creating the oxygen for us to enable us to do that. We are living in an environment where industrialization takes place, where there are less oxygen than there were before, and there are more people. So we've got to create more oxygen. And what a better way than to plant trees. Trees that one day your grandchildren can hang a swing from and swing, but they won't be able to do that if you don't plant that tree now.
Minister, will we be seeing policies to accelerate the 2 billion that the President has asked you to plant, 2 billion trees that the President has asked you to plant?
Yes, in the annual performance plan, we've got the cleaning and greening program. Now, cleaning is picking up dirt, picking up waste, and the greening program is literally planting trees. We must color this country green with trees and with plants, and that is in the annual performance plan that we are rolling out. Our target for this year will definitely to better the target that we've achieved and actually overachieved last year. So you must set yourself those goals and put the means in place to be able to reach that, and that is exactly what me and my department will do.
I know you said earlier on that collaboration plays a big part in reaching that target of 2 billion for the President, but for this organization, 7 billion worldwide. How important is the collaboration?
Well, firstly, you cannot do that on your own. If only DFFE or only as well, like this organization or any other organization is thinking that they will reach those targets on their own, they are mistaken. We all need to take hands. We are different cultures and different communities coming from all over the earth, but we've got one earth, and we must stand together. We cannot go on our own. If we want to reach those targets, this is going to take a collaborative effort, and I have never came across anybody that's not willing to cooperate in this. It's not something for political gain for anybody. It's not one organization trying to be better than the other. It's people coming together, like-minded people that realize that we really need to stand together as humanity in order to save humanity.
I mean, we speak of the impact of climate change being rural and disadvantaged communities feeling the pinch harder. But the continent itself doesn't emit much or contribute much to greenhouse gases. What is going to be done from government side on a national view now when it comes to their part in reducing greenhouse emissions, but also, collaborating and speaking to countries that are emitting more than the continent?
In December, I was in Kenya at the United Nations Environmental Assembly, and we had a meeting where all the African ministers of environment got together. And I had to address them, and I said to them there that Africa is feeling the brunt of climate change, but we are one of the least effectors or contributors towards climate change. And we need to really look at, firstly, getting funding. We had discussions with a lot of the European countries and other developed countries. And I made no secret of it that we need your assistance. We need it not only as South Africa, but as SADC and as Africa as a whole to carry on. We cannot also go on our own with regards to this. And from South Africa's side, we have set our targets. We have submitted our targets again now, and we are achieving those. So what we must also now do is to balance economic growth and job creation on the one hand with protecting the environment on the other. We cannot only see developed countries growing and growing and growing further and then come and buy carbon credits from us. But in the meantime, we as a nation are not growing. We must grow as well, and we must find that sweet spot between economic growth, job creation on the one hand, and literally looking after the environment. The one cannot go without the other.
We'll have to leave it there, Minister. I know that you're quite eager to get your hands dirty, rolling up those sleeves. As you can see there, we'll show you that, the holes have been dug. Trees will be planted very soon, and Minister saying there that they have a very tall task from the President that they need to achieve, which is the building or rather the planting of 2 billion trees this year. The aim, as we heard from Minister Okamp, that is planting more than 1 million trees and beating last year's target, more than 1 million trees to be planted this year in one day. So that's the target, getting their hands dirty, planting about 250 trees today in Khayelitsha. And this, we understand, is a nationwide program that will be seen in many parts of the country and focusing on communities that need it the most, rural communities and disadvantaged communities like Khayelitsha, where we are, and many other Cape Flats communities.
Well, as you see their visuals on your screen, the Minister of Forestries, Fisheries and Environment getting his hands dirty and planting one of those 250 trees out in Khayelitsha.